What is going on, guys? It is finally time. It is reveal season. We already got like them changing, I don't know who the hell this is, but they're changing their things. Like even when I logged into Runeterra, there was some weird picture. Let me see if I can pop it up actually. Yeah, this thing. This is, you open up Runeterra and it's like, yo, what's up, motherfucker? So I'm just deeply curious, and then I looked around and it said, oh, there's cards popping up today. So I was like, okay. So let's see what they're all about. Hopefully after this video, I'm going to release this first, but after this video, there will be a Runeterra video based on what you guys wanted to see yesterday. I think PNZ one, so we're going to make a PNZ Ava the Achiever deck, which is pretty typical, I think, but it should be pretty interesting and fun to see it out. But let's see what's happening in Runeterra. Of course, more TFT League of Legends videos, so if you guys are interested in that, we're going to be dropping videos every day, so feel free to subscribe to the channel. It looks like this is coming out June 28th, right? So we'll look at the cards and I'll try to what is shadow in the brush? What could be hiding here? Oh, these fake from the actual Runeterra champion thing, Runeterra channel. Anywho, okay, so Shadow in the Bush is a token card, so we have no idea what the hell that is. So the next one is going to be Blimp Pack Poacher Ambush 3. When I transform from Blimp Pack Poacher's Ambush, the next time I block or am blocked this round, capture my enemy if its power is 6 or less. It also has Ambush 3, and it looks like when I transform from, so we have some transform synergy going into Shurima. So Shurima's having transform. As you guys know, I am the king of transform. I'm sorry. I have to say it. Some people forget. I went crazy with the transform decks. It's just so fun to just sit there and transform. But having Shurima have some synergy with transform is interesting, because then you could potentially pair it up with PNZ transform or Bandle City transform. So we'll see what's cracking with that, right? So these are all Shuriman cards, which makes me think, because we're seeing all the little stuff. We're thinking Nico, right? So is Nico gonna be Shuriman? I don't know. I thought she was like Ionia for some reason. So this one transforms Shadow in the Brush, which is this card, into a Blimp Pack Poacher, which is this card. So these two are not like our token cards, right? So this is the card you play first, right? So this card you play as a 2-drop, Ambush 3. I don't know how Ambush works. When I transform from this card, which you won't, because it seems like, how do you, I guess it's the Ambush 3 part that how this card works. But when the next time I block or am blocked, capture my enemy. So that's kind of insane, right? So just however you get this stupid card out, right? You attack and they decide, then the enemy gets to choose what gets captured, right? And it doesn't say that it can only do it, oh no, the next time. So it only does it once. So it's either the attack or the block. But the fact that your opponent, it doesn't say follower, right? It just says capture my enemy. So it actually could be a champion, right? You attack, you have this asshole on the field, and he is going to 100% just capture that enemy because he's blocking it. That's a strong 2-drop, and it's a purple, obviously, super rare. That's crazy. And you see it transforming. So that's interesting, very interesting of a card, especially if you can get multiple out there and then it transforms. And then also, like, I'm assuming how silence works. Like, what if I transform that card into something else? I'm assuming that card is just gone. I'm assuming it's just gone. Also, keep in mind of transforming stuff. Remember, the summon effects happen again. We tried this out with the Black Flame and things of that nature. So capturing stuff is also very, I did like a hand gesture there, but it's very interesting and it's very intricate, right? So you have to be careful of what you're trying to capture, especially if, like I said, if this happens to do with you attacking. Very dangerous, because he can then, your opponent can have you capture something that has a summon effect and then ping it with a mystic shot, right? So you got to be super careful. It doesn't gain stats or anything like that. Super careful card, but I do think you can utilize it in fun ways, especially if you can make multiple of them and just constantly go through capturing your entire enemy's board. Again, as long as their power is 6 or less. Let's move on. Ambush 0. When I'm summoned or transform, Grant the weakest enemy vulnerable. It's a 2-cost 3/1. We have a lovely blocker. This one also has a token card, which is from its ambush. So I'm starting to see how this works. So all terrain troopers ambush. So this is his ambush effect. Ambush 0. Transform Shadow in the Brush into a all-terrain trooper. So Shadow in the Brush is a base card for these ambush cards. Obviously, there's something in the brush. That's, you know, they're in the brush. But this card is a token card. So something has to generate it first. So we got Big Game Tycoon 756, which is manifest a card with ambush. When an ally transformed, double its power and health. We got synergy. We have basically a Chief Knock Attack, right? But these cards are transforming more often. So actually a Chief Knock Attack. So we're already seeing Shurima Bandle City, right? Boom. We have these couple cards, right? A bunch of cards transforming back and forth. And without the cheese of Cheese Knock Attack, but if you have cards that constantly transform, even like Gnar, the benefit of that is that they, with Cheese Knock Attack, they healed and they got +1/+1, and they got impact, right? Now this card is saying, I am going to double your power and health when an ally transforms. This card with Gnar by itself is insane. Just insane. Gnar constantly doubling its power and health. You can go either, again, you can go with Bandle City, which I would make sense, or with Gnar, you can still go Freljord, and you can have somewhat of a Revna deck, right? Revna or any of the things popping off. If you want to go Bandle City, you could go on some Chimes. So every time he transforms, those stats are getting doubled. So that's really insane. This is a really good card for a transform deck. Really good for a transform deck, especially for me in my doggies. Well, the dog is in freaking Targon, so I really can't do it, but you know, maybe I could, depending on how much more transforms this deck has. Next up, we have Anora and Froop, which is a reptile, so they're still going on with that. Allies that have different subtypes than other allies in play cost 1 less. So this is an attempt to basically make a flood, right? So this is a reptile, so if you're playing a bird, the bird should cost 1 less, but the next bird is not going to cost that. So it is trying to force you into a archetype of playing multiple subtypes, which could be, I think, very, very dangerous. That seems like, I shouldn't say dangerous, but it seems very cool. But it could get out of hand because there are decks, I think, since the Tavern, whatever that Freljord card came out. I know a lot of people were trying to see like how many archetypes can they put into a deck, and then all their decks would get popped up. But this is, to me, smells swarmy, right? It smells very swarmy if you're playing a subtype deck. So yeah, seems pretty good to me. Next one is Bristol. Once an ally has transformed this game, grant me +1/+1. That is it's a 1/2. Once anyone transforms, it is permanently a 2/3. 1 cost 2/3, which is just good stats. Good stats on good chess. Face check. That's actually kind of funny. So face check is just manifest a card with ambush. It could be any of these cards that we've seen so far. We've seen 2, technically. These two cards are synergized with each other, right? And then Shadow in the Brush. Now, I haven't seen something that actually generates Shadow in the Brush. I think that's the only thing we haven't seen. I'm assuming a champion or other cards do generate it. Let's look at the next slide. Boom! And then, of course, they have the little mystery thing here. But we have Paka Cub. We have another cat, and it's in Shurima, which is pretty cool. It's a 3-cost 2/2 fearsome. Ambush 1, Nexus Strike, summon a Paka Protector, which we see. Okay, I'm about to say, what the hell is a Paka Protector? Is this? So, and then it's ambush. Again, it's similar. All these ones seem to be the same thing. Transform Shadow in the Brush into a Paka Cub. So everything is going to be completely on how Shadow in the Brush comes into the thing, because like I told you guys, like this is a token card. Shadow in the Brush, apparently, at least as of right now, is not something you could put into your deck. Is there cool ways that you could possibly duplicate it? Like I'm assuming, like if I'm playing like PNZ, like how I'm doing right now, or condense, I'm pretty sure that you can condense this, or iterative improvement, or there's many different things you could do. And then when you play this thing, transform it. I don't know if it just does one or all the Shadow in the Brushes that are currently there, but there's plenty of definitely cool things you could do with that. And there's several champions that they could synergize with this, right? But it's definitely a Shuriman champion. I just didn't know that Nico was Shuriman. It just seems it might be a weak archetype if you constantly need to keep that one card on the field. That means that while it's on the field, you probably don't want to block with it, right? You probably don't want to attack with it. It's just something that's going to basically sit on the field, and you have to have other cards synergize with it. But then you basically get 2 cards though, right? Because just like I said, you're playing this card, right? You're gonna play this, and then you get a created card. So there's a lot of created card synergies that's going to be here. Maybe it's going to be Victor. You have a bunch of cards, creating cards that also make other cards turn into other cards. So I could see some creation here. And then we have a book. Pretty cool. I don't know why they don't release, when they bring out a new keyword, they don't release that with the pack at the same time to make it easier for us to be like, well, that's how that works, right? Oh, well, that's how that works, but it's not. All in all, I do think that having more transform synergy in another region is kind of like what they did with Samara's release, with a bunch of plunder coming out into Noxus, right? Noxus now has some plunder. They also added some more plunder to Bilgewater. So none of these are Bandle City. Like I said, most of these cards are Shurima, so there's not too much in the Bandle City. The only card that is actually has transform and already is in there is going to be the PNZ, Honora, and Froop. Froppy Dopey is the only one that's going to be like, oh, that kind of works together, right? She had that, but this is not even an ambush card. This is just a subtype card. So I don't know. I'm deeply confused, but I think it will turn out fine. I think we'll be in a good spot. I think that the transform, like I said, with Bandle City, Shurima Bandle City transform deck is here. It's here. I can also do the predict spamming, right? Because you guys know Shurima is one of my Shurima. Bandle City is like the Curious Shellfolk deck as well. So we can definitely duplicate a lot of our cards. So I definitely will probably run that. Like the Kahiri deck, right? Basically it's Kahiri, but instead of Kahiri, maybe we're just making a bunch of Blimp Pack Poachers and we just attack like Banshees. And if they block me, they get captured. Because once this card's out, it just seems weird. Oh yeah, I forgot. I just saw that. Nidalee. I forgot about Nidalee. You know what? She actually makes more sense as Shurima than Nico does. I really feel like Nico is Ionian for some reason. Or maybe she's actually a Runeterra champion. She just roams the streets, and anything that has transformed, she can put in her deck, which would be busted, by the way. That would be my favorite champion in the game, because obviously I'm the transform king. Of course, in normal fashion, they'll drop the thing later. So, ambush can be played hidden if you have no other hidden ambush allies. Hidden allies are 2 costs, 2 2s, which is the other card. You may pay a hidden ally's ambush cost to transform it into its base card. That just seems very weird. Wait, so this is a 3 cost, right? So this is like, that's so weird. Maybe that's what it is. So it's a 2 cost, but you can pay 1 more to transform to 3, so you pay 3. And then where's the other one? So this is how did this work? This it's a 2 cost that goes to 3. I mean, this effect is obviously stronger, right? So this effect is 100% stronger. So I guess you could say, okay, you're paying to capture a unit because it's burst speed, right? So they attack, you have this thing hitting the brush, you put it in front, boom, haha, bitch, and then you hit him with the blimp pack. Okay, that makes sense. This one's weirder. This one is more, because what is it? When I'm summoned or transform, granted. So this one, you just play it, cost 0, you immediately transform it into the all-terrain trooper because you don't care, right? Because you just want to grant the weakest enemy a weakness. This one, you're probably trying to use on attacking, right, too? So you play the 2, and then you play the 2/2, and then so most of the time outside of this one, this is a 5 cost thing, but you could just play this brush, and the thing is that they don't know if you just didn't play the trooper and you're sitting here with the 0/1. But still, I'm still assuming that at the point that it's still decent for Victor, or you know, some type of reduced cost. If you can reduce the cost of this stuff like that, I guess that's the little trick of it, right? And it really depends on if the cost of it. So this is like a 5 mana play. So even though it's a 2 drop, you would be looking at this as a 5 mana play. You're looking at this as a 2 mana play, and this is a 3 mana play. Oops, I didn't meant to press that. So that's 3 mana play. So, because it costs, the thing costs 2 plus 1, it makes a 3-drop. That's a 2/2 that attacks, and you get this for free. You get an additional cat, and that's gonna supposedly help you with the big cat attack, right? So, I guess if that's the case, I guess the only thing is to not. If the only scary thing that I could think of is running into this guy, right? If you play this for 2, and the next turn you attack. And you attack with it, and they don't know what it is, so they don't block it, right? So because they can assign their blockers, right? And they think it's this guy, right? But it's not this guy. It's actually this chick, or it's a cat. It's the Paka Cub, and boom, now you're gonna get a 3/1, which I guess cool. Then they need more interesting ambush effects. Also, it made me think of another character. This could also mean Ambush could bring out all these characters like, you know what, I was just thinking Rengar, right? Or I think I saw it in one of these things when I was reading it. Rengar, Fiddlesticks. There's a lot of opportunities for a lot of characters that work with Boom Bottle Surprise. Even Ivern. Ivern has a little bit of synergy with brushes or coming out of the brush and stuff like that. So what other characters do you guys think is going to come in? How many? 3 or 4? And do you like this concept now that we know what the hell it is? But I think it's still pretty cool. It's interesting, like outside of everything like that. But eventually, once you got at least 3 mana, it's kind of spooky. It's a little spoopy, but it's not random. But it's random for your opponent to guess, which is something I actually can support. I can kind of support that. It's essentially like a trap. You know, like it's ambush. So you know what's going on, but your opponent doesn't, and they have to somewhat try to play around it based on how you're playing. So depending on how much ambush there is, it's gonna be a little spooky. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Enjoy the ambush, enjoy the cards, and I'll see you guys. Peace.